Hi, Knights. It's Mrs. Hackensmith. Today is Thursday, April 23rd. I would like to wish a special birthday to Bristol, our friend. She has a birthday today during our COVID distance learning. So it's kind of bittersweet. But yesterday when I was delivering your books, I did pick a birthday book for her and her birthday bookmark and her birthday sticker. And I did put that with her Lions at Lunchtime book. So happy birthday, Bristol. Alrighty. Let's take a look at our matrix for today. Today you are supposed to watch the YouTube video, and then we're going to read chapter 4 in our Lions at Lunchtime book. Now, I know you all have your books, so you are more than welcome to follow along in your book. I'm going to continue to put my book under the camera and read that way for the rest of this week. I think it's just for today because tomorrow on Friday we're not going to read from the book. We're just going to do some catch-up work. So today will be the last day that I'll be putting it under the camera. So, but you are more than welcome to read along with your new book that you received yesterday that was either in your mailbox or in the front door, and I hope that you all went to find it. Alrighty. So let's take a look at our book here. Your book, the cover looks a little different than my book. My book's a little bit older, so your cover is a little bit different, but it should be the same on the inside. So if you would like to turn to page 19, that's where we left off yesterday with our cliffhanger. So I'm just going to read page 19, and then we'll move over to the book camera. He forgot about the stuff in his pack. He just ran as fast as he could. He wove his way between the grazing zebras and giraffes as he raced to the river. "Help!" yelled Annie. So that's where we left off. We were wondering what it was that she was yelling help about. So if you went and you did page 5 like you were supposed to in your packet, if you go down here to number 6, it says at the end of the chapter, Annie was yelling help. Make a prediction about why she was yelling and what might happen next. All right, so I hope you all have those predictions, and I hope you all are thinking about what might happen next. So I'm going to move over to the book camera, and we are going to read chapter 4 together. Okay. Here we are under the book camera, ready for chapter 4. Remember, you do not have to follow along. You can follow along in your own book if you prefer to do that. Chapter 4, Mud Bath. Jack looked over the edge of the riverbank. Annie had fallen into a pool of mud near the water. The thick black mud was up to her chest. "I slipped," she said. "It feels like quicksand." Jack threw down his pack and got on his knees. "Be careful," said Annie. "Don't slip too." Jack pointed to a tangle of old tree roots sticking out of the bank. "Grab those," he said. Annie reached for the roots. "Too far," she said, breathing hard. "I'm sinking." She was sinking. The mud was up to her neck. "Hold on!" Jack looked around wildly. He saw a fallen tree branch near the bank. He raced to it, picked it up, and carried it back to Annie. Only her head and arms stuck out of the mud now. Jack held out the branch. Annie grabbed it. "Hold tight," said Jack. "I'll drag you over to the roots." He started pulling on the branch. "I'm still sinking," Annie wailed. The mud was up to her chin. Oh my goodness, she's in serious trouble. "Come on," said Jack. "You can do it. I know you can. Try. Just then, Jack heard a splash. He looked up. On the other side of the wild river, a wildebeest had jumped into the water. Another jumped, then another. They were headed right toward Jack and Annie. "Hold on tight," said Jack. He pulled on the stick again. Annie moved a tiny bit. "Hey, Jack, on the moon it felt like I weighed 10 pounds, said Annie. "And in this mud it feels like I weigh a ton." "Concentrate, Annie," said Jack, trying not to slip down the bank. "I am..." The lead wildebeests were halfway across and swimming towards them. Many more wildebeests were jumping into the water. "It's now or never," said Jack. He took a deep breath. He pulled really hard. Just then a shadow passed over them. Jack looked up. "Uh-oh," he said. A huge vulture circled overhead. "It thinks you're near the end," said Jack. "Oh, get out of here," Annie shouted at the vulture. "I'm fine." In a burst of fury, she let go of the branch. She lunged for the roots. She grabbed them. "Yes!" cried Jack. "Pull! Pull!" Slowly, Annie pulled herself out. She was covered with the black mud from head to toe. Jack helped her onto the bank, getting mud all over himself. So up here we have the vultures flying in the sky. The vultures feed on dead things. So he thinks that she's a goner and she's going to be dead soon, and he's going to be there to feast on her. Now, the wildebeests over here are coming across the water, and they're coming across where they saw Annie. This worries her, and we'll find out what happens next. So, was your prediction right? Did you predict that she was stuck in the mud and would have to have somebody help her out? "See?" Annie shook her fist at the vulture. "I'm fine. Now beat it." But the giant, ugly bird still circled. "Come on, let's get away from him," said Jack. He pushed his glasses into place. "Rats," he said. Now his glasses were muddy. He tried to clean his hands in the grass. "Oh, no!" shouted Annie. Jack turned to her. "The wildebeest will get stuck in the mud hole," she cried. She waved her arms at the wildebeest struggling to swim across the river. "Not here!" she shouted. "Not here!" But the frantic swimmers kept coming. Now, it was hard enough getting Annie out of the mud. Can you imagine trying to get a very heavy wildebeest out of the mud? I don't know if they would have enough strength to do that. And that is the end of our chapter 4. So we're going to have to wait until Monday to find out what happens next. So in your packet of Lions Before Lunchtime on page 6, you will find a paper that has a picture of Annie with some bubbles around it. And then on the back side, you will find a picture of Jack with some bubbles around it. So here's the directions for what I want you to do today. As you read, if you want to reread chapter 4, you certainly may. Think about Annie. What words would best describe her appearance, her actions, her thoughts, and her feelings? Use the bubble map to describe Annie. Now remember, we've talked a lot about adjectives throughout the year. So these are adjectives or words that describe Annie. It kind of answers the question of Annie is blank. So an adjective is a word that describes Annie. And you're going to put one adjective in each bubble. Now, you can describe how she looks on the outside, But we don't want them to be all about her outside appearance. We want also words to describe how she is on the inside. So her actions tell you that she is what? Her thoughts tell you that Annie is what? And her feelings tell you that Annie is what? So, for example, we could say Annie is brave. We could put brave here. She is definitely brave to go and on all of these adventures and help save the animals that she encounters. So I want you to think of 6 more words to describe Annie. Some of the words can describe the outside of Annie, what she looks like, and the other words should describe the inside of Annie. Then you're going to turn your paper over and the same thing is going to be done about Jack. So we want you to think about Jack. What words best describe his appearance or what he's like on the outside? What words describe what he does or how he thinks or how he feels? Okay, so how would you describe Jack? Jack seems to be curious, in my opinion. He likes to find out new information about the different things that he comes into contact with when he's on his adventures. And he will always go back to that book that he receives from Morgan Le Fay. Alrighty, so I think he's curious. He wants to learn new things. Alright, so tell me some other adjectives to describe what Jack is like on the outside, and then some other adjectives to describe what Jack is like on the inside. And then you can put these onto Seesaw. You can take a picture of Jack and Annie, and then you can record yourself reading the adjectives to describe them. So that is what I would like you to do today. If you are not able to go on Seesaw, that's fine, but I still want you to finish the paper in your packet. So pages 6 and 7 in your packet. Okay. And if you need some other ideas, you can always go back and reread the chapters of the books now that you have your own book. Alrighty, let's take a look at lesson 4 in math. We are going to correct what we did yesterday on the guided practice, and then I'm going to go over the independent practice with you. I apologize. On the other day on the video, I was talking about one of the picture graphs, and the picture graph wasn't quite in the camera, so I will do a better job at keeping our graphs that I'm talking about in the camera. Alrighty. So yesterday, we had to make bar graphs. We took the tally graph and we took the information and we put it onto a horizontal bar graph and a vertical bar graph. And then you had to do that, number 1, you had to do that part on your own. So we were talking about our favorite muffins. So blueberry muffins, we looked at the tallies. There were 4 tallies. So we marked 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And remember, you just put a little mark in it at first, and then when we're all done putting all the data on the new chart, then we color it in. And number 2, we had the strawberry had 2 tallies. So strawberry, we colored in 2 boxes here. The lemon muffin had 1 tally mark, so 1 person voted for lemon as their favorite. And then the cherry had 5 votes. So we colored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So your chart should look like mine. 4, 2, 1, 5. And then you were supposed to talk to somebody in your family and talk to them about how bar graphs are different from picture graphs. I came up with a bar graph uses a solid bar. So see how we just color this all together to make it a solid bar? Whereas a picture graph uses individual pictures in each boxes. So in each box to represent a vote. So a bar graph makes a bar. A picture graph, you see an individual picture in each box. All right, I hope yours look like mine. So for today, you are going to take out page 551, Independent Practice. We are going to complete the tally chart and then use the tally chart to make a bar graph. So here is our tally chart, color of shirt. So we have red shirts, blue shirts, black shirts, green shirts. So you're making a chart about which colored shirt everybody wanted. And then you're going to take this information from over here and you're going to put it into a bar graph. And this is a horizontal bar graph because it goes this way. So we have the title, color of shirt. We have red, blue, black, green, the same as over here. Now you're going to take these tallies, you're going to count them up, and you're going to put the total right here in this box. And then you're going to take your color crayon. Well, since they're talking about a red shirt, I'm going to take my red crayon. And I'm just going to put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I'm all done, then I can go back over and I can outline it to make one solid bar. Okay? All right. Then I would do the same for my blue shirt, my black shirt, and my green shirt. Number 3, we are talking about how many people are left-handed or right-handed. And they talked to this many people and they found out that this many people were left-handed and this many people were right-handed. You're going to count those tallies and you're going to make a vertical bar graph. Okay, so the first one had 4, so I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of being like a square box, this time they're rectangular. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I would make the little dot and then I would outline it and then I would color it in. Then you're going to do the same thing for right-handed. Okay, turn it over to 552. Here are the brain builders. So let's read through these together. Use the data to fill in the bar graphs. Alyssa took a survey to find which juice pop flavor 15 friends liked. So she is surveying 15 friends. That's how many people she asked. 6 people voted for cherry. 5 people voted for grape. 2 people voted for orange. The rest of her friends voted for lime. So you might have to do a 2-step problem to figure this out. So I would fill in my 6 votes, my 5 votes, my 2 votes. I would then count all of those and then I would keep counting up until I got to 15 to find out how many voted for lime. Okay, let's take a look at number 5. Luke took a survey of 18 friends. So this is how many people total Luke asked to find their favorite soup. Okay, 4 voted for chicken soup. 6 voted for vegetable soup. The same number voted for tomato soup and noodle soup. Okay, so again, this is a 2-step process. I would fill in my chicken soup and my vegetable soup. And then I would probably add those together and then keep counting on up to 18 And then remember, the same number voted for the tomato and the noodle. So whatever you get, you'd have to put that number divided in half, and then each half goes with the tomato and the noodle. Okay, so think that through. Number 6, suppose each square in the favorite soup graph above, this one, was worth 2 votes. How would your bar graph change? So, instead of each vote standing for 1 bowl of soup here, what if your key said each vote equals 2 bowls of soup? So you have to tell me, how would your bars be different on the graph? Okay. Alrighty. That's your work for today. Good luck. Don't forget to do your page 6 and 7 in your Lions at Lunchtime packet, and then do 2 through 6 here on your math, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.